Hey, thanks for joining me on the CGS Biblecast today. Arrested 29 times for acts of civil disobedience, often on trumped-up charges, Martin Luther King Jr. endured several violent attacks. He received threatening phone calls, his home was bombed and set on fire, yet he and numerous others were undeterred. They believed in their God-given mission to secure fundamental rights and equality for all people. In similar fashion, today's reading, which we'll get to in just a second, Peter and the apostles had just been released from prison, yet again, they didn't keep a low profile. That's just not how they rolled. So let's read it here. Acts chapter 5, verse 27. Then they brought the apostles before the high council. Keep in mind, this is right after they got out of prison, where the high priest confronted them. We gave you strict orders never again to teach in the name in this man's name. He said, instead, you have filled all Jerusalem with your teaching about him, and you want to make us responsible for his death. But Peter and the apostles replied, we must obey God rather than any human authority. Skipping down a few verses to verse 42, it's kind of the result of this. And every day in the temple and from house to house, they continued to teach and preach this message: Jesus is the Messiah. These people needed hope. They were looking for an answer. And Peter and the apostles brought them the message that Jesus is the hope. He is what they're looking for. He is the Messiah. And they didn't back down. No, they continued to teach and heal in Jesus' names, and people were listening. This infuriated the religious leaders who deemed them a threat to civil obedience, the status quo. Yet despite the apostles' persecution and death threats, they too were undeterred. Nothing could stop them from their God-given mission to further the gospel. They feared God more than anything else that man could possibly do to them. So have you ever been afraid of what others might think if you stood up for what's right or shared what Jesus has done in your life? If you have thought that way, that might be normal. But don't let it stop you. It's okay to face things that you're afraid of. And be encouraged that the brave men and women who've gone before you, that they've done it before and they pushed through. And because of that, so many people know Christ. Defending your faith and telling others about Christ is part of your walk with God. It should be. He wants to use you and reach others to make a difference in his name. So no matter the opposition, Jesus is present. So keep sharing your story. Don't let temporary discomfort keep you from your God-given mission and reaching your goals as a believer. So, when's the last time you shared the gospel with somebody? And when is the next time you're going to do it again? And what are you doing to look for those opportunities? I want you to think about those three questions and act on it. Show some grit, show some tenacity, show that you will not be deterred by any kind of consequence, because the gospel has to be taught, has to be preached, has to be shared, because it's too great and it's too powerful. Have a good day.